We in here, they can see. Whoop, whoop. She's actually talking to me, y'all.
That's Maria's hand.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Magic 97.5, the real sound of the ATL. It is a money-making Monday. And boy, oh boy, are we going to help you get your money right. Dr. Nicole Garner Scott is here from Amount Financial. Y'all like Amount Financial? That sister be doing PR around the city, around the globe. This sister does everything.
Yes.
And she is all about financially empowering the people tonight. Women with a plan. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria, for having me. And thank you for being the visionary for bringing all of this financial talk together.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about Amount Financial and what you all do and how you help financially empower individuals and families.
Sure. So Amount Financial, I started about 3 years ago. And really the purpose of it is to help our communities of color, really have access to creating breathing room in their households and strategy for really mapping out their future. So a lot of the money coaching that we do and financial services that we provide, from traditional like credit repair and budget organizing and debt elimination, all the way to more progressive methods, just alternative methods of investing and really helping you to just map out your generational wealth plan. All those things, we do it from a level of cultural sensitivity. So what happens in many of our households when we grow up, what happens with how we look and understand money and our relationship with money is very different than some of our counterparts. So we approach everything with that level of cultural sensitivity tied into it so that it produces long-term effects and not, you hate meeting with me, or you hate, talking about money because I'm sitting there chastising you on something that could be generational, and we have to start there.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I'm going to have you change mics real quick. Okay. Speaking to that microphone for me.
Testing.
Okay, that one's a little bit louder. That one was good, but that one was low.
Okay.
So, and I think all of that is really good, because I think a lot of times people have so much anxiety when it comes to money, and they really don't know what to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't think about their future selves. And I know that when we first talked about this whole financial empowerment event that's happening tonight at the Gathering Spot, I talked about, when I would see elderly people still working because they have to work.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the statistics and just the preparedness that people are at in terms of having a plan for when they're ready to retire, or if some unforeseen circumstance happens?
Yeah, so I think many times in our communities we get into this bubble of you're not supposed to talk about things. That comes from our grandparents to our parents. It's like we're just not talking about money. We're not letting everybody know what's going on in our household. And that has become to our misfortune, because the only way to even figure out if you're doing things the right way or not the right way, or if there's other opportunities, is to be able to talk about it. When it comes to retirement, a lot of our older generations are feeling like, if you had a certain job, it would take care of you, those different things. Now with Generation X and millennials, etc., you see that, you can stay on a job for 40 years, they can still just fire you right before it's time for you to even reap some of those benefits. Pensions don't exist anymore. Social Security, who knows where that will be. Women are living longer than men, so many times a lot of women from previous generations relied on their husbands, but if your husband dies at 60 and you live to 90, what's those other 30 years looking like? So just really understanding what it costs to retire. And to just progressive cities like Atlanta and New York and LA, you have these big pools of entrepreneurs, but as an entrepreneur you still have to take care of your future, but now it's on you. Whereas if you're working in your 9 to 5, you're setting up your 401ks, you're doing different things to make sure that you're taking care of your future. But many entrepreneurs are kind of just winging it. And depending upon what your lifestyle is, if you if you have a spouse, if you have kids, or you have a house, or whatever that is, those things have to be taken care of long after you can produce at the level you're producing at now.
Yeah.
So you have to at least, if I could at least catch you in your 30s, if I can catch you in your 20s, better, but if I can at least catch you in your 30s, retirement has to be a part of your plan.
Yeah. And I can tell people straight up that, I started maybe around like 35 years old. I did not contribute to my 401k until I was 35 years old, and so I had to be super aggressive with saving. But if we have millennials out there listening, or even parents of millennials that are listening right now, man, if they can start in their 20s, it doesn't have to be as hard, and they can be millionaires by the time they're in their 40s if they do it right. Yeah, absolutely. What would you see? What would you say has been like the biggest eye opener, or I guess revelation in terms of the people that come to you to utilize your services? Because I know a lot of folks say, "Well, I have a fixed income, Nicole. How can I save? I'm living paycheck to paycheck." You have these really cool things that you do in terms of helping people find money, scavenger hunts, and stuff like that. What has been like the biggest revelation in terms of that with your clients?
Well, I call it hidden treasures, right? So when you have financial areas that are they're sucking money out of your pocket, but you're not even paying attention to. So the space we are with technology and the digitization of everything is a good thing, but also it makes you forget that you're spending without even thinking about it. So many of us, the first thing I'll do is, if you're saying you don't have $1 to save, I'll say, okay, so let's go through all the apps that you signed up for. Okay, so you have Netflix. We could, cut that out. Or if you need Netflix, if that's like mental therapy for you, then let's look at some other things. But you're probably spending on automatic marketing system, some streaming services, a few different things where you have $50, $60 going out a month that you're not utilizing at all. So there goes $50 a month that we can start to use. And then you can sign up for a service like Digit or Trim or one of those to start automating that savings process and putting that into place. Also too, a lot of us talk about saving a lot, but for some people, you are saving all you can save, right? Like you have cut out what you can cut out. You live a very minimalistic life, and anything else would have you feeling like you were living in a third world country. Right? So at some point, you have to start having those real talks with yourself about earning more. So like what we were just talking about too before we hopped on air is how you have your financial business, your fitness business and other things. Like everyone needs multiple streams of revenue. I'm not saying go out there and have 27 hustles, because then you're all over the place and you're not focusing on bringing in that money. But there are those real conversations where you have cut all that you can cut, and you have to say, okay, how can I monetize my gifts at this point? How can I work my child to monetize their gifts at this point? Because children love making money. Like a lot of my mentees and friends, parents, kids, they're like, what can my child do with you this summer? I'm like, I got things. Like money could be made in different ways, and you have to sit down and after you've done your budget and you've realized you scale back as much as you can, where can I start to make more money?
That's just so valuable, and I just love that approach. And I think sometimes people, in terms of cutting those things out, and they talk about sacrificing. And one of our other esteemed speakers / panelists for this evening is Ash Exantis. And one point that he brought up, he was like, "Listen, when you get taxed more, you adjust. So pay yourself." Definitely.
Anytime, you'll always do what you need to do when something becomes a priority. So if you go home and all of a sudden your water heater busts, or your AC bus. It's the summertime in Georgia, and you call the AC company. It's going to cost $4,000 for a new AC. You figure out how to get the money. You cut back on something. You go out. You do a quick job. You Uber, like whatever it is. You do that. Why not be ahead of the curve? Why not do those things to get that extra money so that when those times hit, you don't have to deal with the stress on top of it?
Yeah. You know, I noticed that, you know, the inception, the creation of Amount Financial was right around the time when you had your son.
Yes.
It's pretty much aligned with that time,
yeah.
right? I love the participants on the panel for the reason that you all apply and you live what you preach, right? What changes did you see personally in terms from, you know, you were single when I met you, then you got married. I love seeing your life transform personally and professionally on social media. But in terms of your own financial priorities, what have been some revelations for you and some changes that you've made in your own life in terms of setting an example for your clients?
Yeah, I think some major things that happened to me was just thinking in the terms of longevity.
Yeah.
What am I doing for the long run? And having my son really honed in on generational wealth.
Yeah.
How do I pass things down to him and set things up so that when I'm long and gone, he can still feel my love?
Yeah.
Because I was very intentional about decisions that I made for him. And people always talk about passing down money, but you can easily pass down debt too.
Yeah.
So you have to be very conscious that even if you're not passing down physical debt, people pass down debt mindsets.
Yeah.
And I just want him to,
girl. Yes.
I want him to be in a space where he has a healthy, non-toxic relationship with money, and that I'm preparing some things for him. So even we talked about, you know, creating a 429 or you know, other tax deferred options for your child. And so me and my husband, we actually created our IRA account for him so that if he chooses to go to college or if he chooses to capture my entrepreneurial journey or who even knows what school will look like that far out in the future, how it'll be valued and what'll be the return on investment. But in regards to that, we created that account for him so that he has his footing. A lot of times in our community, we feel like once a child turns 18, then go out and go figure things out.
Right.
Yeah. But you have no understanding of 401k. You have no understanding of compound interest. You have no understanding of how debt is being marketed to you in society. You don't understand long-term decisions. All these different things you don't understand. So turning them out into the world, that's where most of us made our worst decisions around 18 to mid 20s, and we're still paying off those decisions in our 30s, 40s, and 50s. So me personally, I want to make sure that I can mentally and physically set him up for a good journey with his finances.
I love that, and I love that you you know, because sometimes you see folks out, you know, even with me in fitness, you know, sometimes the trainer be like, eat healthy, and then they be at the drive-thru every day. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very important that we are applying these practices that we're promoting. Super excited about this evening. So the list is full. We will be sorting through a live stream via Magic ATL. You can also follow Nicole Garner on all Nicole Garner Scott. Sorry, hubby. All right, on all social media, and then tell them how folks can get more information about Amount Financial and taking advantage of your services.
So amountfinancial.com is the website. You can follow us on social at Amount Financial. You can follow me personally, Dr. Garner Scott. That's DRGARNER Scott. And tonight we'll just be really delving into, I call my talk money confidence or coinfidence is what I term it. Just becoming very confident with your money decisions, and confidence is just a big part of the pie at getting out there and doing what you need to do to get to where you want to get to.
Absolutely. Well, it's such a blessing, and like I said, it's been such a privilege to see you evolve over all of these years and become the woman and professional that you are and the mother and wife that you are today. And I'm super excited because I know this is going to be the first of many more to come. So continue blessings to you, sister, and I look forward to an amazing evening tonight.
Thank you. Thanks, Maria.
We got it. Y'all hear that? Y'all apply all of these things that we talking about. We hope that y'all you know, RSVP'd for this evening.
Yes.
And yes, it's going to be great.
We will see you tonight at the gathering spot. It is sold out. So if you haven't RSVP'd, then make sure that you check out the live stream on
Magic ATL.
Magic ATL.
Yeah.
And we'll be sending out recaps and everything else, so you can still join the waiting list just to make sure that you're on our email list for future events.
Awesome.
Thanks, Maria.
Yay!